laptop, desktop, or tablet at KFMA.com.
You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I felt like we needed to start the day off with a little bit of applause.
Okay.
That perks everybody up. I don't know if you ever just gotten random applause, whether you probably served before and you dropped a bunch of dishes and you feel like an a-hole, but then everyone starts clapping and cheering and you're like, I'm going to do that again. Thanks, everybody. Same thing.
I do that when I'm at a restaurant. I start clapping when somebody drops something.
I think that's a cordial, societal rule. You have to clap and applaud.
Yeah, because sometimes crap happens and you just drop things.
This is why we do F My Life. People love just kind of like celebrating the misery of others in a way. So, speaking of which, we'll have F My Life today around 7:00. It's Wednesday. We're going to do a confession session with Weirdo. Tons of things to give away. I got double up on some of those ticket items, including the World Fighting Championship. But we're going to be giving away tickets for that event, MMA action at the Casino del Sol on November 11th, I believe.
Yes.
And we're going to be giving away our first pair here shortly, so be ready for that. So I woke up this morning and keeping an eye on Florida because this weird hurricane that's hitting from the Gulf into the north part, like kind of like the panhandle of Florida. The only reason why I care is because our friend Kat lives in that area.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Kat just to see how she's doing and just let her know that, hope it blows over well without any catastrophic effects and whatnot, and have not heard anything back yet. And she hasn't been online, and maybe there's power outages or whatever, but, it's one of those, if you listen to the news, catastrophic or historic, a lot of history in the making kind of things. It looks pretty strong, but it's no like category 5. This is me as I get older, and then I'm just like downplaying hurricanes. Like, I've seen stronger. They're like, no, actually, you haven't. Not in the history of man documenting it. Have you seen stronger in this area going across in this pattern? I'm like, okay, all right. Well, they took a different route, but I see stronger. Not just a 4, then a 3, and then I know how this works, and it turns into a 2, and then a 1, and then it's just clouds and rain. And are we gonna be like upset about that? I don't know. It's easy to say, when you're in a desert, and you're not getting hit by hurricanes.
You've lived here most of your life.
Yeah, it's not like we're not without our own catastrophic, weather patterns and record-breaking years. This year was a record-breaking year up in Phoenix, but it's still Arizona. Record-breaking amount of days over 110, record-breaking amount of days over 115. And this little fun fact, and I know the people in Phoenix loved this. This was the one that they celebrated the most, the gold medal. They broke a record for days over 119 degrees. They had 3 this year, and the record was 2 set in 1990. And I remember that year. Oh, it was a hot year. It was a very hot year. I was 10 years old, and as a 10-year-old, you're outside playing all the time, and it was hot. I remember it was hot.
The water never cooled down in the hose that you drink out of the yard.
Yeah. And fun fact, that's the same hose I would drink at dinner and stuff. And, give me my food, tell me to go in the backyard, and if I was thirsty, suck it down. Obviously I enjoy making people laugh. It's what I do for a living. Sometimes in my everyday life, I enjoy making myself laugh. And I had a situation like this where I should have been a YouTuber in another life, right? And I don't record these kind of things that I do. I just do them for my own pleasure. So I took my car to the shop. Yesterday. I had to get my rotors and brakes replaced.
Yeah.
And so, it's a little deal. It took a couple hours. And the shop, I was in Royal Kia, which is like right down the street from my house. So I just walked there. It's a couple hours, get the phone call, ready to go. So I'm like, cool. Go, I pay everything, and I'm walking out, and there's a guy that walks out with me because they got to take all the plastic and the paper floor mats out of the car because they wash the car for you. It's a nice little service. But like, remember, was a couple months ago, I backed into that senior citizen in a car wash.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have like kind of like an unsightly dent in the back of my car, right? It's noticeable, but it doesn't affect its driving or anything. But we're walking out to the car. And I just decided, I thought this would be a good moment to do this. And I go, we're walking up and I go, what the F is this, man? What the hell? I only leave for a couple hours. I give you my card. And this is what you see this? And I am like red-faced rage, right?
You are full commitment,
right? Just to F with this guy. And he's like, I don't know. I was just inside. I don't know. And just when he's about to break a sweat, I'm like, I'm just messing with you, man. He's just like, F you, dude.
I would have cried.
It was so good though. Yes, it was kind of I told this story to my daughters. I guess what I did, and she's like, "That was a jerk move," and I'm like, "Well, okay, it might have been a jerk move, but I thought it was hilarious, and I was just messing with him. Obviously he didn't do anything, and I'm not trying to get a free service, but at the same time, there's a life hack for you. If your car's all dinged up and you take it to a shop, when you get it back, you can pretend like it wasn't dinged up to begin with. And then next thing you know, free oil change, bitches, something. So, again, this is just something that just pops into my mind. I want to be a little chaotic on a Tuesday. And I did that for myself. And you should have seen me. My car's all fixed. It was nice. And I'm in the car, I'm 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And I'm just like smirking and just like, just pat myself on the back. Sometimes I get such joy out of others' misery. It's messed up.
Jesus.
I know, but I had a good time. And I'll tell you what. So there's two ways that this worked out. When I left, the guy either went in and said, "Man, this guy was hilarious, totally got me," or he was just like, F that guy. Yeah. So either way, that's polarizing, and I'm there. And I was like, you like my acting, huh? And he's like, that was pretty good. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, thank you. I do that for a living, It's like I'm a professional actor. So there's not too many opportunities you get like such a layup to F with somebody so hard.
That is true.
And that is true. And I didn't have this like planned ahead of time. We were walking out of the lobby, going to the car, and I look at the dent, and the dent always annoys me that I see it,
right? And
then immediately in that split second, I'm like, I know what I'm gonna do. My pain is gonna be his pain. And then a little double honk on the way out. Deuces. All right, let's get right into our show here. We got music on the way from Avatar, but I do want to give away a pair of tickets to start off the show. So as simple as caller number 10. If you want to see some live MMA action, the World Fighting Championship that's happening November 11th at Casino del Sol's at Ava Amphitheater. Caller number 10 is going to pick up a pair of tickets. You'll be my first winner of the morning, but you won't be my last. Your Morning Morons coming up next. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. You know the name of the show. Let's go. But I see what you did there, weirdo. All right, it's now 6:15 and time for your Morning Moron. Let's do this. All right, here we go. We got another doozy for you here on this Wednesday morning. And now, there are people who create elaborate schemes for robbing banks. I'm surprised that robbing banks is still a thing in today's world with technology the way it is. And, they've figured out, hell, in this country, it's like America's pastime, even older than baseball. Robbing banks was a thing that people have done for a long time in this here country, right? And so with every bank robbery, you feel like the banks come up with another way to thwart said robbery so it doesn't happen again. But no, here we are. Guys are still robbing banks. Now, of course, there are still people out there who will rob banks and have like zero plan. And today's Morning Moron is a person that seemed like didn't have a plan at all when he decided to rob a bank. He's a 56-year-old man in Connecticut named Robert, and he's been charged with larceny after he saw a bag of money outside a bank a few months ago, picked it up, walked off with it.
There's just a bag of money sitting there.
Yeah, finders keepers, man.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't see the issue so far, but it was a bank deposit bag with the bank's like insignia all over it. And the money was accidentally dropped by an employee of Robert's Trumbull's tax collector office. So there's about $5,000 in cash inside.
Okay.
Yeah, so police investigated and determined that Robert had taken it, and he later admitted that at the bank he saw the bag, he walked off with it, and he figured it was a finder's keeper's and had no obligation to return it.
Yeah.
Right? Now,
I would assume the same thing.
yeah, well, you would assume wrong. You would end up going in jail. They say it might work. The finder's keeper's law might work with like a $20 bill on the sidewalk because that could be dropped by anyone. But the bag clearly belonged to the bank, and it was just outside the bank. And there were documents inside that showed the money was tax funds for the town. But at the same time, is anyone working at the bank? Does anyone notice that there's a bag of money with their name all over it just sitting outside the bank?
Did the employee get in trouble for dropping it?
No.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So, anyways, this guy's getting a felony because he basically was living off playground rules. And that's why I have to consider Robert a morning moron in this situation. Now, if you opened up the bag and said finder keeper's half of it, I don't think that's as bad.
Just take a couple stacks and leave the bag.
Yeah. You say there's 5,000. You should at least apply an idiot tax. Be like, look, it's wrong to steal this entire bag of money. I know this, right? But at the same time, it's unsupervised. Just laying out here, times be tough. So I'm going to take 1,000 off the top, and you're going to think about what you did. It would be so good if that was the way that we lived this world. But either way, I mean, Robert's going to be in prison now just because he wanted free money. There's no such thing as something that's too good to be true.
Right.
$5,000 on the ground with your name written all over it. Too good to be true.
Yeah.
And for that matter, we're going to have to say that Robert here, begrudgingly, is today's morning moron. This is the weekend. This is the weekend Metallica fans have been waiting for what seems like an eternity, but about 10 months, because Metallica's taking the stage up at the State Farm Stadium on a Friday and Sunday. And I think it's State Farm Stadium right now, if they change the name. Now, of course, since Metallica is separating those back-to-back shows by a day, you ask yourself, what are they going to do in a day off? Well, there's a lot of things that are happening up in Glendale during this week for Metallica. They got their pop-up shop up and ready already. So, yeah, if you want some custom Metallica merch, you're good to go. As you know, we got that Blackend Whiskey, which is Metallica's whiskey, which is very good. I have a bottle of it here in the studio. My buddy KP is actually a liquor rep for Blackend, and he gave me this heads up. If you guys want to get an autograph from Rob Trujillo on a Blackend whiskey bottle, well, Saturday, from 2 to 4 up in Phoenix at Paradise Liquor, Rob's going to be there signing the bottles along with the Blackend Whiskey distiller, Rob Dietrich. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a bottle signing event appearance at Paradise Liquor, which is 722 West Southern Avenue. That's basically 7th Ave and Southern, which is kind of close because it's the southern tip of Phoenix, and that's the northern tip of Tucson. That's the way I look at it. And it's this Saturday from 2 to 4. Also, they're raffling off tickets for the Sunday show. So if you don't have tickets and you're a Metallica super fan and you like whiskey, then you'll probably want to be here. So that way you could get some whiskey and potentially walk away with tickets. And of course, meet Rob Trujillo.
Yeah.
Get an autograph from him. It's going to be a big deal. And it's exclusive with that location only. So 2 to 4 this Saturday, Rob Trujillo signing off a bunch of bottles of whiskey.
Well, and yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend about Metallica, and he's like, yeah, who's this new guy, Rob Trujillo? And I was like,
New guy?
He's been in for 20 years. He's like, no way. It hasn't been that long already. I was like, yeah, Some Kind of Monster, Say Anger was 20 years ago, 2003.
Right, yeah. So, okay, then pop quiz. Cliff was the first bassist of Metallica. Who was the second bassist?
Jason Newsted.
Yeah. And Jason Newsted is a maniac, and not in a good way.
No.
Yeah, there was a story of him doing a festival as a solo project up in Phoenix. This was about over a decade ago. And he had a full-blown rock star tantrum where he destroyed the trailer. I know this personally because I know the people who were working it personally. And the way that he was acting was uncalled for. And that was the last that Phoenix has heard of Jason Newsted, because he hasn't done anything since. No. Speaking of Metallica, of course, we are giving away those tickets for Power Trip, and we are qualifying winners all week long.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to give you a heads up right now. At 8:10, I'm going to remind people what song they're listening for today. But that song is going to be AC/DC Thunderstruck, and it's going to be played around 1 o'clock today.
Okay.
So that's a heads up for my early birds out there. The rest of the information, you're just going to have to follow along, either listen at 1 or tune back in around 8:10 when I give that information all over again. I'm kind of bending the rules just because I want a KFMA listener to win this. It's between KLPX and KFMA, right? Those are only 2 stations that are qualifying people to give away this trip for Power Trip with the tickets, with the hotel stay, with the $500. So it's not amongst other clusters. And I feel like our listeners could be the luckier listeners. I feel like our listeners, even though I know some of them, are bi-stational, which is fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with being bi.
Yeah. And if you guys are bi guys out there and you listen to both stations, well, good for you. Toodaloo. But, I really think our listeners should be the luckier ones. And we got to throw the KFMA listeners a bone every now and then, right?
Yeah.
So 105 today, AC/DC Thunderstruck. Listen to Robin Nash. She'll give you further instructions from there. Let's hit the reset. We got more coming up after Rage Against the Machine and Rock 102.1 KFMA. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. I came across this article that I found fascinating and also concerning, and it involves marijuana. Marijuana users, marijuana as a business as a whole, as, legalization has been, taking over the nation state by state. But it seems like dispensary owners are having a lot of problems, and you would think they would just be printing money, but in some scenarios it's the opposite, and they're filing for bankruptcy.
Really?
And so this piece said that the America's weed industry may be on the verge of collapse somehow, some way, and I'm like, how the hell is that even possible? Right now, so across the U.S., the legal weed industry is under pressure from what they call a ganja glut. Now, that means, and this is a good thing for consumers, and this is the catch-22, right? It means they're producing so much marijuana that there's excess, right? So supply and demand, all right? Now, the demand has always been there, but the supply is outgrowing the demand, which is driving the prices down. And then with that, the profit margins shrink. And then on top of that, there's large taxes. So it doesn't seem like we're getting that much of a break as a consumer. Right. So the only one winning in this scenario, it's not the business owner and it's not the customer. You know who it is.
It's the government.
Always. Right. And this is to affect, this is a negative effect. And what's concerning is, if the game is rigged that hard, does that mean the only player that's going to be able to survive in the game is the one who makes the rules, aka the government, right? All right. And so it's not federally legalized yet, and I don't think it will be during this administration, because Biden has a son that has drug issues and believes that's what started it all and created all these problems. But every fair-minded person thinks like, oh, maybe this guy has just more than a weed problem, right? There's tons of problems that are unaddressed in that situation. But still, the point is, legalization on a federal level will not happen, at least within the next 2 years, right? And probably not within the next 6. But it doesn't matter, because state by state, the people are voting and legalizing. Okay, but now that opened up the floodgates for private business. Private business are the dispensaries that we have here in town, where they're around all over the place. Right. And it was good for them. And anyone that's working at a dispensary, they're getting paid fat and they're dealing weed and they're loving it. Right. Yeah. But this is a problem that is starting to affect a lot of these dispensaries where they're not able to pay their employees and they're starting to shut down. Yeah. Because isn't it like a 30% tax? In some places, if you don't have a card, right? Yeah. So prices have plunged, even as dispensaries complain of high taxes and red tape. The industry group warns pot business is on the verge of collapse without reforms. So they're begging for reforms. And even while sales soar, dispensaries say eking out a profit is growing harder and harder because of the mass production of marijuana pushing the prices lower. Again, and that's great for the customer, but we're still spending more than we should. In California, there's a dispensary chain called MedMen, which was once dubbed the Apple Store of Weed. So, they were like high tech. Right. And they're teetering on the brink of financial ruin. While in New Jersey, a trade group warns the industry is stagnating in a doom loop due to licensing delays. Right. Wow. And it's happened so quick. Yeah.
Just the last few years.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I mean, so was the boom. The boom is quick too. So I mean, it seems like that's always seems to be the case.
Mhm.
Now, sadly, the legal cannabis markets demanded by countless Americans are on the verge of collapse if common sense, practical reforms are not enacted urgently, said the National Cannabis Industry Association in a recent report this month. So they're begging for reform to fix this. And how crappy would that be? Right.
Right.
Where we finally get legalized weed and then
all the businesses go out.
they go
all the
out of business
dispensaries.
because we have a plethora of weed.
Yeah.
Huh.
We didn't see this coming.
No.
Not on my 2023 bingo card.
No. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. But let's hit the reset. We got your F My Lifes and tickets to give away for a couple different bands, including Puddle of Mud. That's all coming up this next hour. So keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1. Yeah. I love that song. Love that album. Tiger Cub's the name of the band. A Perfume of Decay is the name of the track. And I encourage you to not only go down the rabbit hole and listen to their music because it's just great rock and roll in this post-pandemic world, but also to check out our 1-hour interview that we did with Jamie Hall, the lead singer that you just heard, a 7-foot-tall Jamie Hall. From Tiger Cub on the podcast broadcast page. YouTube page is growing, and I thank you for that. When you get a chance, please subscribe and hit the notifications for daily live podcast broadcasts and various clips from interviews and live performances and just stuff we found funny. I'm actually having a really good time cultivating this page to make it like an entertaining one-stop shop of all things pop culture and music and stuff. So it's cool. All right, we got your F My Life's coming up after Drowning Pool, but as always, I have a bonus FML email I'd like to share with you, weirdo. And this one, we're starting off hot.
Okay.
Summer sent me this the other day at beefvegan@kfma.com. She said, "Hey, Beef, this year on my birthday, I had one too many drinks, and my best friend and my boyfriend had to take me home. We went back to my apartment and all squeezed together in my bed. Now, immediately, I know what you're thinking, my polyamorous friend. But it didn't work out like that.
Oh, no.
She said during the night, I got sick and spent the rest of the night on the bathroom floor. Later, I found out that my best friend and my boyfriend effed in my bed."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's
So,
not cool.
really?
No.
I know. So F My Life?
Yes.
100% Summer. So sorry about that. Next birthday is going to be better. I promise you. Because it can't get worse. The rest of your FML is coming up after Drowning Pool's Bodies and Rock 102.1 KFMA. Don't go away.
Self-loving by your mom?
Awkward. It is awkward.
Did you do something that got you fired from your job?
I just get stupid.
It's fun being stupid.
Don't hide this in vain. Let us laugh at your pain. Call 600-KFMA right away.
I promise we won't embarrass you.
Because Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, it's time for another edition of your F My Life. These are unfortunate situations. Email to me at beefvegan@kfma.com. Subject line FML. But of course, if you have an F My Life you care to share on the air, you can give us a call right now, 600-KFMA. That's 600-5362. And Weirdo and I will weigh in on your F My Life situation. If we agree your life is F, we may even hook you up with something. And speaking of which, I'll start off with this email I literally just got from Tracie. And I usually sit on these for a couple days, but this one was a doozy, so I want to share it with you right away. All right, she said, "Hey, Beef, check this out. So this happened to me in the span of 3 days. As I was dropping off my middle schooler, I curb checked my tire and popped the tire. Right? Pulled over to change the spare and lost the hub key for over an hour."
Oh, no.
I hate those effing hub keys. I mean, I know that you don't get your tires stolen, which is good, but do not misplace that. It's impossible. All right, found the damn thing and changed my tire with the assistance of a sheriff. Keep in mind, I did not have insurance on the car yet. Now sweating my ass off trying to distract the officer so he didn't run my tags. Drove around town the next day on the donuts since I didn't get paid until the very next day. Went to discount, bought 4 new tires. Day after that, got into a car accident, totaling the new car with my brand new tires. Total loss, right? Then found a car to buy in my price range, drove it around, and it was cool. Set up a deal with the owner. As the owner is driving it to my house to get the cash and do the title exchange, the transmission goes out.
Jesus.
Spent the rest of the day stuck at home. Yes. So
Maybe you should have just stayed home to begin with.
maybe, yes.
That sucks.
Goes without saying, F my life, right?
Yeah.
100% Tracie. And here's what I'm going to do for you if you're listening. Go ahead and give me a call, 600-KFMA. We're going to hook you up with tickets of a concert of your choosing. If you can go to either Puddle of Mud or what was the other one I'm giving away?
Saving Abel.
Yeah, Saving Abel. Or the MMA fights. So if you want to go see MMA fights in November, if you got your bearings by then,
Yeah.
I got your hookup. So definitely F my life. Hopefully things work out better for you. All right, here's our next F my life situation sent to me by Fernando. Fernando said, a few months after my coworker stopped wearing her engagement ring, I decided to put on the moves to start flirting with her. I soon found out that her fiance had died and that she's nowhere near over him, despite her brave face. I feel like the total a-hole. Yeah. As you should, Fernando.
Yeah.
F my life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't blame you, though, for shooting your shot. You
I mean,
didn't
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. That's why you always got to stalk her on social media first.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
If there's anybody that I have faint any kind of interest, even if I'm disinterested, stalk away, find out what you can, and then, make a decision from there.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, my life sent to me by Christopher. Christopher said, I managed to accidentally drop an entire cake on my laptop's keyboard. There's so much frosting stuck under the keys. I have no idea how I'm going to clean it out.
Sounds like you need a new laptop.
Yeah. Seems like you effed your laptop for sure. So that's
entire cake.
Yeah.
Were you eating it by yourself?
Oh, that's a whole nother F my life. Oh, come on. Don't make fun of him. He's already out of the laptop. Now you're making him feel like he's questioning his life decisions. All right. So F your life, Christopher. All right. 2 more left. Katrina sent me this one. She said, today a friend of mine sent me a Twitter link along with the question, isn't that your mom? It was.
Oh, God.
She was pretending to have shaky arms from the COVID vaccine. This sort of ish is why we hardly ever talk to each other. Oh, and her acting was worse than any school play I've ever seen. Oh, look at me. Or I love it when they're just like, look, I'm magnetic. It sticks to my face when that's gravity, bitch. All right, F my life?
Yeah.
All right,
Your
I
mom
agree.
sucks.
Yeah, it happens, Katrina. All right, final F my life of the day. Dakota wrote me this one. She said, I decided to break up with my boyfriend. The main reason being that he doesn't value my time, and he fails to see how canceling at the last minute is rude and a major inconvenience. I wanted to be respectful enough by breaking things off face to face, but he canceled at the last minute. F my life.
Big baby, that is your confirmation that you are doing the right thing, ma'am.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just shoot him a text saying deuces and then ghost.
Yeah.
All right. Keep those emails coming, beefegan@kfma.com. We're going to hit the reset, give you an opportunity to win tickets right after the break. So stick around. It's Rock 102.1. And who's being played? We're all getting played. Oh, yes. Anyway, so, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the world, like music news. And here to report it, we got Weirdo. All right, what's going on in the world of music here, Weirdo?
Well, typically when you hear the name Rick Rubin, it is the producer, and most people think he is a genius and absolutely loves him.
Present company included. I absolutely adore Rick Rubin. I think he has been such an important fixture in pop culture and music history of the last 40 plus years.
Oh, yeah. Producing with Metallica, Slayer, System of a Down. I mean, Eminem, you name it, he has worked with them.
He made Limp Bizkit have a good album.
Yes.
Right? He did not produce Chocolate Starfish and whatever. He produced Significant Other.
Yes.
That is the good Limp Bizkit album, Rick Rubin. So continue.
Yes. Well, Corey Taylor is going to disagree with us. He is not a fan of Rick Rubin at all.
Boo.
Yeah.
I don't like the boo Corey Taylor. I do like him as a person. I've met him. He couldn't be nicer. But at the same time, I wholeheartedly disagree. What's his argument?
So he was speaking about the band's experience recording Volume 3, the subliminal verses, and Corey Taylor said that the producer kind of ruined it for him. A lot of it stems from how I feel about Rick Rubin, Taylor admitted. Rubin wasn't there, and when he was, it's like he couldn't be bothered.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I mean, I could see that. He didn't have a pleasurable working experience with him, and maybe Rick Rubin was too guru-like. He would just pop in, and his presence for 5 minutes is enough to get a producer credit. If you're not going to put in the work and just live off your name and your legacy, yeah, I can understand the frustration there.
Or maybe Rick Rubin just wasn't that into Slipknot.
Yeah, that's possible. But
Yeah.
Rick Rubin does like all different styles of music.
He does.
He did produce System of a Down, right?
Mhm.
He did produce Johnny Cash. I mean, all over the place, right? So I still love him.
Yeah.
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 I mean, he made the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He made the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Mhm.
Any good album or song that you like or love from the Red Hot Chili Peppers is 100% Rick Rubin influence.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What else you got going on?
All
in the
right,
world music?
we're going to go a little bit into kind of the death metal scene. Job for a Cowboy is back on the scene for the first time since 2014.
Ooh, that's hardcore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the Agony Sleeping Storm gives a slice of our upcoming concept album, said singer Johnny, and it's and they've already released the new single, but the album won't be out until 2024. And the new single is called, where is it?
Sun Eater.
No, Sun
that
Eater
was
was the 2014 release.
Oh, okay.
The Agony Sleeping Storm is the name of the single, not the name of the album. Sorry, I had it backwards.
Here, I actually got like a little clip I'll play you. This is pretty hardcore. Wow. Ah, yeah.
That is throwing it back to some traditional death metal, which
Yeah.
is quite lovely to hear.
All right, good news for death metal fans for sure. Anything else in our music news before we wrap it up?
And Metallica broke Taylor Swift's record for the highest single show attendance record at Sophie Stadium by over 8,000 people.
Yeah, take that, Swifties.
Yeah.
There's people out there still listening to bands. Well, you know, Taylor Swift is actually a pretty good musician as well. I don't want to bag on her too much, but that is good news for pop culture altogether.
Yeah. Metallica's still running this world.
Excellent. All right, we got to hit the reset. We'll be back with more right after this. It's Rock 102.1. 1 KFMA, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. Hey, Weirdo.
Yes.
I want to play a game.
Let's go.
All right, so the game is Think Fast.
Think Fast.
All right, on the phone, on line 1, we got Yvette. Good morning, Yvette.
Good morning.
On line 2, we got Mike. Good morning, Mike.
How you doing?
Good. All right. So with Mike and Yvette on the line, they're both trying to win tickets for Puddle of Mud this Sunday at Rialto Theater, along with Held Out and a bunch of other bands. It's going to be a good show. Now, with that said, the game that we are playing is Think Fast.
Think Fast.
Now, the edition of Think Fast that we're doing is the Pumpkin Spice edition. Now, if you follow on social media, then you might have seen the video clip that I posted yesterday talking about the Dude Wipes Pumpkin Spice Scented.
Yes.
So now we got Pumpkin Spice Scented bee wipes.
Oh my God.
I know, it's amazing though. You know, a lot of people, they like to go that route, and a lot of people like a pumpkin spice as well. So it's the best of both worlds.
Oh, it just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah. With that said, I actually came across a list of tons of real life pumpkin spice products.
Okay.
And I also made a list of fake pumpkin spice products. So how we're going to play this game is I'm going to list the product. We're going to have Mike or Yvette buzz in with their name. Whoever buzzes in first gets to guess whether it's a real pumpkin spice product or a fake pumpkin spice product.
Okay.
All right. Whoever has the most points at the end of Think Fast.
Think Fast.
Will win those tickets for Puddle of Mud. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Here's our first product. Buzz in with your name if you think you know the answer. Pumpkin spice Axe body spray. Mike, you buzz in first. What do you got?
Fake.
That is correct.
Nice.
Yeah, men aren't trying to smell like pumpkin spice, but they should because women love pumpkin spice. Huh?
No.
No? All right.
Just don't wear Axe body spray at all. How about that?
Ugh. All right. Well, now you just put me on blast here. You know? I thought I smelled good, weirdo. All right. Here's our next product. Buzz in with your name if you think you know the answer. Pumpkin spice Crest toothpaste. Real or fake? Yvette.
No, not real.
That is fake. That is correct. All right, scores 1-1. Here's our next product. Real or fake? Pumpkin spice Pringles. Mike.
Real.
That is correct.
That sounds gross.
Yeah, it does sound disgusting. Mike, have you had pumpkin spice Pringles?
I haven't had pumpkin spice anything.
Mike is a real man.
Yes.
And, you know, I respect that, Mike.
A man's man.
Yeah. After we get off the phone, let's do some push-ups together. All right, here's our next product. All right, real or fake? The pumpkin spice Kit Kat.
Fake.
Yvette.
Yes, real.
That is real. Have you had the pumpkin spice Kit Kat?
No, but it sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious, actually. I would eat that pumpkin spice Kit Kat all day. All right, we're all tied up 2-2. This is a very close game of Think Fast.
Think fast.
All right, here's our next product. Buzz in with your name if you think you know it. The pumpkin spice Snickers candy bar.
Mike.
Yvette.
Real.
That is incorrect. They do not have a Snickers bar yet. Point goes to Yvette. All right, Yvette is in the lead 3-2. Here's our next product. Real or fake? Pumpkin spice Jif peanut butter.
Yvette.
Yvette.
Not real.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
Point goes back to Mike. We are all tied up in Think Fast.
Think fast.
Now this is 3-3. The way we got to do this is one last round since we're all tied up. Whoever buzzes in gets the answer, whether this is real or fake. If they get it correct, they're going to win tickets for Puddle of Mud this Sunday with Held Out.
Yes.
But if they get it incorrect, their opponent is going to win those tickets. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, the pressure is on. Here's the product. Is it real or fake? Pumpkin spice juicy fruit gum.
Yvette.
Mike.
Yvette for the win.
The answer is no.
The answer is no, fake.
Yeah, it's fake.
Mike, would you agree with Yvette?
No, I wouldn't.
Oh, well, unfortunately, Mike, you are incorrect. And Yvette is right. So that means with a score of 4-3, it looks like Yvette just won those tickets. Congratulations, Yvette.
Yay, thank you so much.
No problem. Stay in line, going to get your info. Mike, you put up a hell of a fight. Good news is we have other tickets to give away for Puddle of Mud and other events. So keep listening. There'll be plenty of opportunities to win. And thank you for playing Think Fast.
You got it, man. Thank you.
All right, cool. We're going to hit the reset, come back with a confession session right after these words. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Rock 102.1 KFMA. In a podcast broadcast, we're going to be talking with David Slutz. He's the general manager of Hotel Congress, talking all things HOCO that's happening this weekend as well. So many great events happening in town this weekend.
Yeah.
So whether you're going to road trip it, hit some lakes, do some like post summer activities, or go up to Metallica, that's good for you. But if you're here in town and you're looking for things to do, well, there's no shortage of fun stuff that you can do. And I'm excited about it as well, because I think I'm going to be in town the entire time.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is now 8:32. Let's get into a confession session, shall we? Now, these are emails sent to Weirdo, giving anonymous confessions. Sometimes we give advice on these confessions. And if you have anything you want to get off your chest or need some unsolicited advice, well, then go ahead and give us a call, 600-KFMA, 600-5362. What's your first email, Weirdo?
All right. My girlfriend loves her dog enough to let him lick her face, but not enough to regularly walk him. He ate a dead bird in the park today and then went home for kisses, and I didn't say anything.
Oh, damn. So that's
Petty,
just punishment for being
right?
the lazy girlfriend. Yeah, that's, well, I'll tell you what, dude. I mean, as much as that's sweet revenge, aren't you going to lick her face?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to end up getting the bird flu. And
Right.
you think it's spiteful, and yeah, so I don't know. I would have said something.
Wow. You get your dog sloppy seconds? That's gross.
That is gross. A lot of cases, that's always the case. All right, what else you got?
All right. Girlfriend of 5 years is Argentinian. Secretly started learning Spanish when we met as a romantic surprise, but instead found it much more useful to eavesdrop on her FaceTimes with family and friends. She still doesn't know that I know Spanish.
Well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I love that. I wish I was bilingual to a point where I could understand all Spanish fluent, because I wouldn't tell anybody.
Right.
And I would definitely be that guy all the time, especially in Mexico. I'd just be like, okay.
Uh-huh.
But really, I'm just like, you son of a bitch. I know exactly what you just said about me.
Oh my God. I saw that in a TikTok video one time where it was like the two ladies in front of her on the bus was just talking crap. And she's like, by the way, I know this language and I know everything you're saying. And they just turned sheet white. Oh, so good.
Yes. Actually, I got one here for you that this was supposed to go to you. I forgot to forward it. So I'll just read it.
Okay.
It said, and actually just, I have a name. It's Lawrence, right?
Okay.
He didn't mind not being like anonymous, but he said, my girlfriend has an odd paranoia that seems to be developing from how much time I spend in the bathroom. without getting too graphic. My bowel habits tend to be a 2-time-a-day thing, and I'm the one I like to take my time. Sometimes I will read or scroll through my phone, but there's really no reason to rush it. And sometimes I'll be in there for 30 minutes. I find it oddly relaxing and call it, quote unquote, my time. Even though our place has 2 bathrooms, she's now getting pushy about what I'm doing in there and what takes so long and if I'm hiding anything. She's even taken to looking through my phone to see what I'm really doing in there. And I would think the smell would make it obvious, but this is becoming a problem for me because I don't like to be rushed doing my business. Is this a thing for anyone else, or am I really that much of an oddball?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, you live with 2 men.
Yeah, I do. And they do. They take their time. And they sit there and they read a book or they're on their phone. Dude, your girl's insecure.
Yeah, dude. And the bathroom is my safe place, right? I've definitely been known to take some time there. I spend a lot of time in there. So 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, that's pretty quick, dude. But you are getting there twice a day on average. I have to tell myself sometimes, oh, you know what? Let's wrap things up.
You're right.
Because your legs are asleep, first off.
Set a timer.
Yeah, and you just watched 3 podcasts. It's time to go. All right, give me another confession, weirdo.
All right, my mom has framed her favorite photo of my wife, and it sits proudly in her living room. She has no idea that I took the photo while my wife was having a number 2 when she got caught short out on a long walk. My siblings also know, and we all, including my wife, find it hilarious.
That is hilarious. Yeah, that is fantastic. That's favorite photo, huh? And framed?
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, you should get a tattoo of that. Any other confessions before we wrap things up?
The signs my husband was having an affair. He started to shave down there, bought new clothes, got a hair transplant, was actually smiling for once. But now I know it's ended because he is miserable. I wish he would go back to her.
Oh,
yeah.
Nothing worse than your husband getting his heart broken by his mistress, and you have to deal with that. Oh, yeah, and it is so sad, so strange.
I mean,
sad.
what a solid wife though, to sit there and be like, oh my God, it was making him happier. I want him to be happy.
No, I think there's something wrong in that whole scenario because that's not as poly as you like to portray it.
Okay, fair enough. I do have a bias.
Yeah, super biased. and does she have an affair? Is her relationship going good? I don't know. Yeah, we try to call up the mistress and try to talk her to come back.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's hit the reset. We have, like I said, David Slut's coming in. We so much more, but your Florida Man story of the week is coming up next. Keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Finger 11 with Paralyzer and Rock 102.1 KFMA. Don't have a Florida Man story actually lined up. Yeah.
We've been having so many lately, though.
I know. I think I blew through them so quickly, but I'm sure we'll be reloaded with Florida Man stories tomorrow. I do have some educational, I think. I want to run it by you because I came across this article explaining the signs that she might be open to a threesome. Now, you been in relationships and incorporated threesomes in your relationships. So I'm sure in previous relationships with your partners, you were probably dropping hints that you'd be open for this. So if I run through a couple of these talking points from Chris Maxwell Rose's book, called Pleasure Mechanics. So you let me know if you think it's true or not.
Okay.
All right. So erotic adventures. So she doesn't shy away from new toys, interesting locales, and various kinks being introduced into the action. That's a sign that she might be into a threesome.
Yes.
Okay. Fantasies, if she's eager to share them, that's a good sign.
I think so.
Okay. Porn. If she's down with watching porn with you, it's a plus. Even more so if it's her idea. So if she wants to watch porn, does that mean that's going to be open for a threesome because that's just the reality of porn?
I mean, maybe not necessarily the threesome, but she's definitely not going to show any kind of jealousy or problems with you watching somebody thinking that it's hot.
Okay.
Or that they're attractive or things like that. Because, there are some women out there that are so insecure that they can't even handle the thought of their partner finding something else even just attractive.
I say men too. I've had a partner who wanted to watch porn with me, and I didn't want to show my style of porn that I liked watching, which is homemade and just very kind of plain kind of thing. And she wanted to watch kind of more professional, donkey dong stuff, right?
Okay.
And yeah, I just couldn't get into it. I can't picture myself in that scenario.
Okay, then.
Yeah. So I go for a reality-based porn. So did that have anything to do with anything, or did I just out myself and my insecurities? Okay, that's cool.
We're just going.
Okay, cool. Baby steps. These can include aforementioned porn viewing, but also could extend to other activities. Stop shy of full-on three-way action. So maybe a little bit of makeout sesh with her girlfriend at the bar or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Confidence. They say nothing sexier than confidence. It could also lead to exciting and fearless moments, including that threesome. So if you're confident enough, being like, you know what? I would destroy that and that same time.
Yeah.
Is that confident?
Yeah.
If they say destroy, is that like a turn on? Like, if a guy says he could destroy you, are you like intimidated or turned on by that?
I might be slightly scared.
Are you scared?
It's like, how are you going to destroy me emotionally or physically? Physically, I can handle. Emotionally, I can't.
Right. Yeah. And I think most scenarios, men mean physically. In my relationship history, I mean emotionally. Finally, actually, I'm done with this conversation. Let's get ready to introduce David Slews from Hotel Congress.
Yeah, let's reset this real quick.
Yeah. I'm just like
This is
exposed
off
myself
the
so
rails.
hard. Shut up, weirdo. All right. YouTube.com/BeefVegan. The podcast broadcast is live and it's next.